Okay, in the interest of everyone who has joined on time, I think I'll get started with the session. So, good evening again, everyone. I'm Jennifer Berkmans, and I work as the General Manager with US Placements at Miles. And I'm a qualified CPA, and I've done my master's in the US, worked in the US, and then moved back, worked with PwC before I started working with Miles. So, that's a brief introduction about myself. Today, we're going to be talking about the shortage of accountants that US is facing. Why is there a shortage of accountants, and what role does Miles play in this shortage of accountants, right? So to get started, to talk more about what the shortage of accountants is, or how exactly is there a shortage of accountants, or why is there a shortage of accountants? If you see the younger generation that is coming out or graduating from school at the moment, we see that most of them are inclined towards going for a tech-related course, right? And that's just become the norm right now. People want to be having a job or pursuing a career in data analytics, data science, data engineering, AI, machine learning, and all those cool topics that we talk about. Not a lot of them want to get into accounting because it just doesn't seem very interesting to this younger generation that's coming up. Because of this, schools or universities in the US are not finding a lot of people enrolling for the accounting program. Okay, so in the US, the schools or the universities are facing that there is not a lot of students coming in for an accounting program, which in turn, again, if you don't have a lot of people graduating from the accounting program, the firms or the public accounting firms in the US are not going to find the right talent. Okay, this has led to the shortage of accountants in the US. And the current generation that is actually running the public accounting firms is the boomer generation, which means that they will soon be retiring, right? They are eagerly looking for candidates who will be able to come in, learn accounting, learn auditing, taxation, and so on, and take the profession forward. But that's not the case because of the reasons we just discussed. So it's been a few years now that US has been talking about this. There's a shortage of accountants, and the accountant shortage is threatening capitalism's future. Okay, that has been Washington Post's headlines for a while now. And to give you a little more idea of what's happening there, I want to show you a quick video.
The global economy is in crisis. There's a huge accountant shortage, and America wants you.
There are 17% fewer accountants employed.
300,000 accountants and auditors leave the profession. So let me get this straight. We're currently short on.
Miles has cracked the puzzle for Indian accountants to work in the U.S. for 3 years. Become a flag bearer for Indian accounting talent as you live the great American dream.
So as you see, this has been something that has been discussed across the nation in the US, and now other countries are also talking about the shortage of accountants. What role does Miles play in this accountant shortage, right? So to look a little bit more on the statistical side, 126,000 jobs are available year on year for accountants, right? So accounting, auditing, and taxation, these are the three domains that we are discussing when we say accounting. And every year, the number of graduates from the accounting program has only been 72,000. Okay. So what we are trying to do is fill this gap or this delta of 53,000 plus job openings that we have. The shortage is around 53,000 year on year. And at Miles, what we're trying to do is to close this. So how did we make it possible for Indian accountants to work in the US? I'm sure many of you who are present here have family or friends who are in the US or who have moved to the US from India. And majority, if not all, would have probably moved for a science degree, right? So they probably moved to do a master's in engineering, master's in computer science, so on and so forth. A typical tech or a science background student will complete a BTech in India. They will go on to pursue a master's in the US, which is typically an 18-month course. After that, they get a 3-year work opportunity to work in the US. Okay, so that is the extended OPT that they have. After 3 years, if their employer has, at their discretion, has willingly sponsored their H-1B work visa, then they get to stay there for an extended period of time, which is beyond the 3 years. And then they probably come back after a while to India in a managerial position. This is the typical playbook for a techie. Now, what did Miles do is we saw that this is possible. If it is a STEM designated course, it is possible for the MS accounting students as well. So what we did is we partnered with US universities across the US and also did that we integrated business analytics into the MS accounting curriculum. Okay, so before this, prior to what we did, it was a non-STEM course wherein none of the subjects that you do will have any tech-related topics. Now that we've integrated business analytics into the master's accounting program, it is now a STEM designated course, right? When I say STEM, it means science, technology, engineering, or mathematics. Because of this integration, the T of STEM, technology, is taken care of. Okay. So what does this do? Any candidate who pursues a master's in accounting will now be eligible for a 3-year work permit as opposed to the 1 year that was previously available. Okay, so on the right-hand side of the screen, you see OPT and STEM. So STEM is what we just discussed. OPT is optional practical training, which is the work visa that you get post your graduation, right? So you're still on an F1 student visa. The OPT gives you the eligibility to work post the graduation. Okay, so that is your OPT and STEM combination. Who are the parties involved in the Miles US pathway? Number one is Indian accountants. All of you who are present here. Now, this was not a possibility before. Now that we have made it from a non-STEM to a STEM degree, it's an opportunity that is available for Indian accountants. Number two is US universities. When I say US universities, as I had initially spoken about in my introduction, universities are not finding students enrolling for an accounting program, especially for the master's in accounting program, right? So a typical bachelor's degree in the US is 120 credits. And the master's degree is 30 credits, right? So once you enroll for the master's program, you have the extra 30 credits. The 150 credits is available for you to be a CPA licensed candidate. Public accounting firms become the third pillar of this entire pathway because they're not finding the right talent for their offices in the US. Okay, so this is the pathway that we've built, and these are the parties that are involved. I'll quickly talk a little bit about the university before I have one of our alumni talk about their experience with us. So the universities that we have are displayed here. And in the academic year 2023-2024, we had 400 plus candidates who moved from India to the US to pursue in about 10 plus schools for their masters and then went on to graduate and get their jobs. For the academic year 2024-25, we are expecting more than 1,000 students to be moving from India to the US. Okay, and we've partnered with universities across the US, so it's not in one particular region. We have multiple states that we have partnerships with. So like I said about when we spoke about the US universities, typically students pursue a master's in accounting to get the 30 credits for the 150 credits of the CPA license. So if you look at the MS accounting program, there is an overlap with the CPA curriculum, right? So all the subjects will be somewhat aligned to the FAR, Reg, Bar, and audit papers that you have right now with CPA. So usually students get a little perturbed that they might have to do an MS accounting and pursue a CPA. So the MS accounting covers a portion of the CPA. So there is definitely an overlap and you won't feel like you're doing two separate things. So how exactly does the Miles US pathway work? The entire pathway is broken down into two parts. Okay, so like I had explained before, the master's program is for 30 credits. 30% of the 30 credits, which is 9 credits, will be pursued here in India with JAXOM. Okay, JAXOM is an AACSB accredited school, and the universities that we've partnered with in the US are also AACSB accredited schools. Getting the 30% completed in India leads to a flat reduction of the university fees by 30%. So not only are you finishing a portion of your coursework in India and the burden in the US will be lighter, but your fee structure is also reduced by 30%, right? Because you will be paying this in INR instead of USD. And we also have additional scholarships of up to 40% for miles candidates because we send students in groups, that is in batches of 30 to 60, not just one or two candidates in each school. The final thing is miles candidates are eligible for a GRE GMAT as well as a TOEFL IELTS waiver. So all of you will know that a business school in the US requires an aptitude test, which is a GRE or a GMAT, and will also require an English test, which is IELTS and TOEFL. But because you are miles candidates, you're finishing a portion of your course here in India and then moving to the US to pursue the remaining 70%, these exams get exempt or waived off. Okay. With this, I'm going to take a quick pause to actually invite Vinay, who's on call right now. He went with our fall 2023 batch to the US, and now he's gotten a job. He's graduated, and he's soon going to be working in the US. So, Vinay, can you introduce yourself and talk to us about your journey so far?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Vinay Kumar. I recently graduated from Drexel University. So I will be start working from like next August. So I'm waiting for my EAD approval. So my journey is like I am associated with Miles like from very long back. I enrolled in CPA program, but in between this process, I also took like AI CPA courses. With the help of that AI CPA courses, I got an opportunity to work in one of the private company in India. That was the first job with the help of my Miles back in India. With the help of that first job only, I got like second opportunity in the US. Yeah, I was working in the same field like US taxation. I will be continuing with the US taxation here also. So coming back, like when I was working in in that company, like I was not happy with that company. I mean, like not that company. I was not happy in that place. So I was thinking like where to go. What should I do next? Then when I was searching about this other opportunities, I came to know about this Miles US pathway. So immediately enrolled with US pathway. I literally trusted Miles like anything. I did whatever they said to me. Like I followed every instruction, everything they told for me to do. So then I applied for admission to Drexel University. I got my admission in December 2023. Sorry, December 2022. Later, I got the result of that admission in like February. So in between that, I was continuing with that job only. I thought of like quitting that job without informing them, but that I later I realized that that would be biggest mistake for me because like that experience really helped me to get this second job in USA. So later, like I got my visa approval in like on 7th of July. When it comes to visa, like Syed sir was really helpful for us. Like he like guided us to like how to clear the visa interview. With the help of Syed sir, I could able to crack that interview in first attempt. So later, I gave the interview for CPA form in like in September, I think, before like flying to USA. Just like week before flying to USA, but they announced the result like in December 2023 after landing in USA while I was pursuing my degree. So then after hearing that good news, like I was really excited. Like now I completed my graduation on June 15th. I'm waiting to start my job in like August. This is all about my journey.
Thank you so much, Vinay. And I think the journey for you has been great so far, and we wish you all the best. And I thank you for again joining this morning from Philadelphia. So thanks again. And yeah, we'll talk to you.
I'm now in North Carolina in
You've
my
moved
city.
already?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Congrats again, Vinay, and thank you for joining.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thanks, Vinay. Okay. So coming back to discuss further about the process that we have. So we spoke about how the entire Miles US pathway has been split into two, 30% and 70%. We'll talk a little bit about the timeline for the spring 2025 candidates, which is the January 2025 intake. Okay, so the entire process of applying to universities has already started. And this month and next month is when the universities will be rolling out their offer letters. Once the US university starts rolling out their offer letters, the step that the student has to take is to prove their financial ability to sustain themselves in the US with regard to their cost of living as well as their tuition fees, right? So financially, to be able to sustain yourself, you will have to prove that to the school, and the school will issue a document called the I-20. So the I-20 is a document that shows what is the cost for living for those months of 9 to 12 months of being in the US, as well as the tuition fee. And you will also have to show how you're going to support yourself. This I-20 becomes the most vital document for you to start your US visa process, right? So the US student visa is called the F1 visa. To start this process, to put in your application with the embassy, you need the I-20 document, okay? So this application for your US F1 visa happens during the month of August, okay? So once you get your visa in, and then you'll get your slots to go have your interview and have your visa approved. By Jan of 2025 is when you will be flying to the US to pursue the remaining 70%, that is the 21 credits at the university in the US. Okay. So between July 2024 and January 2025, what you will be doing is pursuing those 9 credits with JAXOM, which is completely online, right? So you're not going anywhere to take these classes in person. You will be taking it online, and the entire 9 credits will be transferred from JAXOM to the US university from where you've received your offer. Jan 2025, you're starting your master's in accounting, and by December 2025, you will be graduating, okay? So the period of 12 months from Jan to December is when you're pursuing your 21 credits of your master's, as well as pursuing your CPA, okay? So the final milestone that you have is graduating and starting your OPT, which is the optional practical training, which is the full-time job that you will have, that you will be starting after you graduate. What is the breakup of the cost? The cost is roughly around $45,000. And how is this broken down? Step number 1 is going to be the $250 that you will have to pay to enroll for the Miles US pathway, right? So this is around 20,000 rupees. Step number 2 is pursuing your 9 credits in India with JAXOM. That is roughly around $9,900. This amount of $9,900 will be covered under a loan. The previous step, which we spoke about, which is $250 to enroll for the Miles US pathway, will not be covered under the loan, and it will be paid out of your pockets. Step number 3 is receiving the I-20 from the university and applying for your US F1 visa. This is again roughly around $2,000, and will not be covered under the loan. It is an out-of-pocket expense. Step 4 is enrolling for the CPA program, or if you've already started, the entire CPA program cost is $2,300. This amount is covered under the loan that you will be taking. The next step is to pursue your 21 credits at the US university for the master's in accounting. And the range is going to be around $15,000 to $30,000. Now here it's a range and not a fixed amount, because each university has a different range or a fee structure. Hence, there is a range of $15,000 up to $30,000. The last step is your cost of living in the US. And we say that for a period of 10 to 12 months, you're going to be spending $10,000, because your stay, we are saying that we are taking a conservative approach, because you will not be taking an entire house to yourself. You will be sharing it with other people who are going with you from India to US to pursue the master's, right? So except for the US F1 visa process, as well as enrolling for the Miles US pathway, which is $250, everything else gets covered under the loan. Okay, and this I will explain it further in the next slide. So what is the investment that you will be making, and what is the return on it? We talk about a starting salary of $60,000 once you graduate from your master's in accounting and are also pursuing your CPA. So over a period of 3 years, your earning potential is greater than $180,000. And from there, you will reduce the loan that we just spoke about, which is $43,000. And then the interest on loan around $13,000. Taxes over a period of 3 years for $20,000. And your cost of living for the 3 years post your graduation will be around $54,000. So your savings at the end of 3 years is going to be over $50,000, right? So this is going to be the return on investment cost monetary wise. What other investment am I making and what is my return? Now, the investment that you will be making is the 1 year of study in the US because for your MS accounting program. And monetarily, as we just discussed, it's 35 lakhs of loan, 2 lakhs out of pocket expenses. Your return on this is you get a 3-year OPT employment on your student F1 visa and your salary of 50 lakh rupees per year. So 1.5 crores over a period of 3 years. And this amount will be utilized for repaying your student loan. Okay, so this is briefly the return on investment that we just discussed. So these are all our alumni who have graduated and have will be starting to work in the US in this month and the next month. I will play a video of as well.
I got into
Like a dream that I've been waiting for a very long time.
Within 3 months of coming to the US, I got placed in New York in a firm and I have a job offer letter. First semester, and I got a job, joined in September and I got placed in December. That's why I've come from India to US. I want that security. I want that dollars in my account.
This was always been a dream for me and might help me to get through this.
The American dream. Hundreds of Miles alumni have been placed in the US in top accounting firms with a salary of more than $60,000. That's more than 50 lakh Indian rupees. Be the flag bearers of Indian accounting talent as you live the great American dream.
So I also play a video of what is being spoken from like the thought leaders in the accounting industry.
After 2020, we saw people backing out after planning.
What I never saw coming is the massive staffing shortage.
It's a crisis.
300,000 accountants and auditors leave the profession.
The talent shortage is by far the most pressing thing that as a profession we're dealing with.
There's more CPAs that are retiring than that are coming in.
We live and breathe it every day. It's hard to find experienced talent.
Miles Education approached us and said, hey, we have a solution for you, and really help U.S. employers to get the help that we need. Miles Education have really finding a solution.
This is an answer. This is doing something out of the ordinary.
Miles has cracked the puzzle for Indian accountants to work in the US for 3 years. Become a flag bearer for Indian accounting talent as you live the great American dream.
So I'll talk a little bit about the recruitment side as well, in terms of what our corporate relations team does in the US. So our corporate relation team led by Chandu in the US, they attend multiple conferences to, just like how we have to educate students to know that this is a possibility for Indian accountants. There are firms or public accounting firms in the US that are not aware that they can have onshore staff. The students graduate with a master's in accounting and are pursuing CPA, so they have good knowledge and come with some level of experience as well. So we talk to them, we talk about the solution, we tell them that we have students who are moving from India to the US with experience. They will be graduating at the different timelines that we have. And they're all in awe of the entire solution, right? Just like you saw, multiple thought leaders and industry leaders have been talking about this, that the entire problem of not having the right talent in their firm has been the most pressing problem right now, right? So we've had placement drives with RSM, with Video Alliance firms, Lineal Global firms, and so on. So in the US, a group of firms come together to form an alliance, especially this is common in the public accounting field. So there are firms that are part of the BDO Alliance. Lineal Global is the second largest global accounting alliance. So we are part of these alliances to make sure that we can go and present and talk about the solution that we have, and they become aware of what the process is of hiring international talent. Okay, so I want to show also, yeah. So follow Chandu on LinkedIn, Chandrasekhar Nagarajan. He leads our corporate relations team. This is one of the meetings that he had with one of, being part of the BDO Alliance. This was in Charleston, South Carolina. And this is Bob Lewis. You saw him in the video as well. He is the president of the Visionary Group. So we talk about it with multiple leaders. We talk about what the current problem is, how do we help, how do we solve the shortage of accountants. And so Chandu travels across the US to meet with leaders, to be a part of conferences. RightWorks is one of our champions in the US who have been very excited about the entire solution that we have. So we have also collaborated with CPA societies. We now have about 10 plus societies that we've collaborated with, and we're trying to collaborate with more societies. So we attend many sessions. This is Tim Moy, who is a managing partner with MBE CPAs, which is a mid-sized firm in the Midwest in Wisconsin. And he's also been very, very excited about the solution that we have brought in. So there are multiple conferences that the entire team attends. This is the entire team who are in the US. This was AICPA Engage in Las Vegas. And the team is very passionate about what they do. And so the people who want to learn about it are finding it more interesting to learn that they can have onshore staffing solutions. Miles Talent Hub page on LinkedIn is also will also tell you what events are happening, where we are present, and what is exactly happening on the ground there in the US. Okay, so coming back to our session, I will close with one last discussion on what happens after 3 years, right? So we spoke about graduating and then having the OPT for 3 years. So what happens after the 3 years? Plan A for us is return back to India after 3 years of on-site experience. That is, you have pursued your master's and graduated with a master's from top US universities. You have your CPA designation, and having worked in the US, you also have the dollar savings. And what happens once you come back to India is we will share your profile with the Miles India placements team. We will continue to work with you. So what we have as an option is you can continue working for the same firm in India as a remote resource, right? So for example, you're working for a firm in the US, a public accounting firm. You've worked there for 3 years. Now what happens is you will come back to India. You will continue to be an employee of the same firm, but now you will be a remote resource, and you will be the bridge that ties India team to the US team, because you now have, you've been institutionalized with this particular firm. You have experience with their clients, and you also know the culture of the firm, right? So now you're a remote resource that will be leading the India team and being that bridge. If not, you will seek alternate job opportunities within India. Again, we will work with you for that. And the estimated CTC for a job in India is going to be around 20 lakhs. Plan B is H-1B sponsorship, and we put this as Plan B because H-1B visa sponsorship, there are a couple of things that are involved. Number one, it is totally at the discretion of the US employer. They will have to see your performance. They will have to be invested completely to know that, this is a sponsorship that I want to take forward. And even if the employer has made the decision to nominate you for a H-1B visa, it is subject to an annual cap of 85,000 in a lottery system. So what it means is 85,000 approvals happen year on year for H-1B. The 85,000 is split into two. It is 65,000 in the regular category and 20,000 in the advanced category. Given that you are will be pursuing and graduating with a master's degree from the US, you are eligible for both the regular category as well as the advanced category. Okay. So after putting in all these application, 85,000 will get approved through a lottery system. Hence, no one can actually tell you for sure that you will get a H-1B visa. Hence, this becomes our second plan. So overall, this is the entire Miles US pathway that has been created for Indian accountants to work in the US. And a few common questions that I get while we talk about the Miles US pathway, number one being, as a CMA, I've completed my CMA. Is it not a job that is available for CMA in the US? And the simple answer is, CPA is most sought after. It's not that you will not get a job, but from Miles, it's not that firms are mandating, but from Miles, we take a very strong stance that CPA is a must, because at the end of the day, you are all getting jobs with public accounting firms, right? Think of it in parallel to how you would approach a chartered accountancy firm here in India. If you want to pursue your CA here, you will, once you get there, they will ask if you have started or are you in the process of completing your CA. In a similar manner, once you're in the US, if you're going for a CPA firm and you're going to be working in audit, taxation, accounting, their request or their requirement is that at some point you are going to finish your CPA. It is definitely advantageous, and we are very, very strong in advising that you should pursue your CPA while you're pursuing your master, so that you have at least a few papers completed, if not all. And the other thing is going to be communication. Your communication has to be excellent, because you will be communicating directly with clients. We work with a lot of mid-sized to smaller sized firms across the US, which means that you will have direct communication with clients. So it makes it all the more necessary for you to have your communication skills, kind of really, really sought out. So make sure you work on communication skills if that's something you think needs more work or improvement. Another thing that we get often is the job during my master's? And the answer is no. The full-time job that you will be pursuing with public accounting firms or getting with public accounting firms is post your graduation. Okay, so during your master's or while you're pursuing your master's, you can do 20 hours a week on campus. Okay, so it's a part-time job. You can work on campus, and while the school is in session or when you're taking classes, you can work for about 20 hours a week. When it's a break or you don't have classes, you can work for 40 hours, but it's all on campus. So which means you can't do off campus or off-site jobs. Okay, I think that covers most of the questions that we usually get. Anything else, please, you would have gotten the information on the chat as to how you can connect with Miles. Get connected, understand more, and the team will be more than happy to answer all your questions. And thank you once again for attending this session this evening, and we wish you all the best.